It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Run it to your friends. Come on.
Come on. Come on.
It's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is tight. Sinclair is on the mic.
Once again, it's on. You're still troubled in your home. Got you tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your wealth. Keep it moving, spirit flowing because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday 8 and 9 and it's on. Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show when people at night. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show coming to you live and direct. And as the theme song says, don't miss a moment of the show tonight, because from the mailbag, we're going to talk about some things, and those things, we're going to see how it tempers with you all, if you will. But before we begin, I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions and comments to sinclairtalk@outlook.com. We're going to continue to address as many as possible. Each night we're on the air to reach you because you the value listeners. And what does that mean? That means that without you, I wouldn't even have to be up on this show. I could be in the bed, relaxing, resting, getting my night energy built back up. But unfortunately, because I value you all, we up here on the show. We about to do this thing tonight. And listen, we got a lot of stuff to cover. This is actually, we got a good topic. It is not gender-based, but it is something to make you think a little bit deeper. Let me see who was the first person on the show. What? Say it isn't so. JC, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you on the show. I also see my home girl, Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard. She is from Huntsville, Alabama. And listen, people, if you all, a lot of you all be talking about Sinclair, I sent you a little shout out and you ain't say nothing to me. Listen, I'm only seeing the responses for those people that are on Facebook. So if you're on Twitter, Twitch, whatever they call that, if you're on YouTube, if you're on the local TV stations that we show up or on the radio station, then I'm not going to get your stuff real time. So charge it to the game. Okay. I will hit you back. A lot of y'all be DMing me. Matter of fact, a lot of y'all be on them DMs. Why y'all secretly be talking to me? Y'all can talk to me. I'm a pretty easygoing type of guy. So you ain't got to just talk through the DMs, but we're going to have a conversation. What up, Jay Dizzle? Glad to see you. And if it isn't the lovely Rebecca Wiggins Brown, glad to see you this evening on the show. So look, people, we got a lot of things that we're going to cover. And I want you all to be open-minded. And I don't even know why after all these years of us being on the show together, I got to tell y'all this, but I do, because sometimes y'all be closed-minded on how y'all want to get down with your boy, but that's all right. I will say this. For those y'all on the East Coast, they got some storms lingering around out there. They talking about sometime next week. Some of them saying it's going to miss the entire East Coast. Some say, hey, keep your eye on it. Hey, y'all know that y'all president messed around and reduced FEMA to barely nothing. And NOAA ain't really got a bunch of employees. So y'all might be out on y'all own. James Key, what's going on? Glad to see you. What else is going on in the news before I start talking about tonight's subject? Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. Some of y'all hit me up because you all saw what I posted up on my site. Now, Jay Dizzle can attest to this. Probably about, I want to say 8.5, 9 months ago, we were having a conversation. And I told them, I said, because I got an IT background, right? So when they were talking about the voting machines and all this different stuff, and I said, listen, if you give someone access to the voting machine, they could rig the voting machines so that they write a script in the background that makes you believe you're voting for the right candidate of your choice, but the vote be going to somebody else. Only reason why I'm saying that is because someone is out there on YouTube. Matter of fact, it was a news organization. They found a person who's got a voting machine that they bought legally. But if y'all want to know who they bought it from, Goodwill. What in the Sam Blazing Hills is going on? So anyway, so they bought the voting machine and they showed exactly what I said 8 months ago, that you could go into the voting machine, you could change the script. So you would think that you were voting for, let's say, a Democratic candidate, but they had switched the script in the background. So that vote only would have been going for Trump. I don't know if y'all seen that or not. Yeah, they bought it from Goodwill, a voting machine, an actual voting machine like the ones they use right now. So I'm just telling y'all, the only way that you could tell is that in the president only category, it was switched from the Republican being on the top to the Republican being the secondary one. So anyway, we're going to talk about that a little bit further, but not tonight. Only reason why I'm even talking about it, because I was like, you know what? Ain't no way in the world that I was talking about this and y'all wasn't trying to listen to your boy. And now here it is. One of my Anglo-Saxon homeboys said it. And now all of a sudden the news people going and watching. That's for a different day. What up, girl? Lola. So anyway, we're going to talk about a lot tonight. That ain't going to be at the top of the conversation. But we will be deep diving into that at another time. Let me say this too. So a lot of y'all love to figure out where my little evening show podcast came from. So now somebody brought this one to me, right? And the podcast title is Don't Stop Loving You Because Somebody Else Did. Now I know that's a little bit, that's right out the gate. Some of y'all gonna get in your feelings, but we should be able to talk about anything. And at first I wasn't even gonna do the topic because I was like, you know what? Them haters gonna be out there and I don't even feel like dealing with the energy tonight. But every now and then got to put something in your purview that might help somebody or others learn how to process something. So again, the topic for tonight is don't stop loving you because somebody else did. And so let's just go ahead and deep dive. Let me see, who is this right here? Shanika Tanae Simpson Williams. Listen to that. We're glad to see you on the show. And I want to say this because a lot of times we have dialogue on the show and it gets a little comical from time to time, but there is some truth to these things. And sometimes people get in their feelings because they like, look, why are they talking about? I'm talking about it because it's impacting people. Sometimes when you go through situations, relationships, it doesn't matter what it is, you start feeling about yourself the way that somebody else felt about you. And that's not how it should be. But we're going to talk about it in segments. And first and foremost, let's look at this from the perspective of, let's say hypothetically, you're in a relationship. And in this relationship, at some point, one person is no longer in love with the other person. Now, we talked about last week as to whether or not if somebody checked out, or week before last, if somebody checks all the other boxes, they're a great person, XYZ, could that relationship work? And a lot of you all said it could. And I was puzzled. Quite honestly, I was surprised that so many said it could, but that let me know the skepticism that we have out here about something as significant as love. And while obviously people love and enjoy being in emotionally safe spaces, but part of me it didn't sit well with me. Why would you want to, you still settling, okay? You're still settling if you're in a relationship with someone who does not love you. That means you're saying, I don't deserve to be loved. Okay. I'm not knocking if that's your thing, but I want to stand on business on that side of the tracks to say, if you believe, and I'll say this to women, but it could be men as well. If you believe that it is enough that a person does everything except for love you, then that means you ain't ever really been loved before. Okay? And I'm going to keep it a stack with you. JC said, that's a good topic. A lot of people write off love after heartbreak. Just give yourself time to heal and be open again for love, joy, etc. You know what, JC? You speaking like you got a lot of knowledge. I'm proud of you, JC. That's growth. And I want you all to understand this, men, especially us. And I know y'all think I'm always pro-male, but I'm giving y'all the male perspective because so often we get the female perspective and there's nothing wrong with it. But men, you can't be afraid to demand love. Most people don't have a problem demanding respect. Okay. And in my career, there's a certain level of respect that comes with my job title. Doesn't matter what the job title is. It just simply does. But when was the last time that you looked inside yourself and said, no, I'm not going to settle, that I deserve somebody who, when they see me, they light up inside because they see me. Okay. You deserve, if you ain't ever had that, you might not know what it feels like. So you might be okay with anything. But you shouldn't begin with the end in mind of it's okay for me to devote my time and energy, effort, resources, whatever it is, to somebody who, when they see you, it's just like, you know, I could take it or leave it. And I want y'all to understand, Taya Matthews, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you. I want y'all to understand, I'm not saying anybody is wrong. Your choice is your choice. But if a person doesn't, if they don't get warm inside when they see you, if they don't hear your voice and all of a sudden, you know what, they be like, that's my boo right there. If you got a right to expect or desire or demand that the person that you of your own free will spend your time with, they ought to feel a certain kind of way about you. Now, let me be clear. If they don't, if they did and they don't, then you need to ask yourself, was you a contributing factor to that? And if it's possible for you to reverse the things that caused it to be that way. So I am not implying that you give up on a person. I'm saying you need to be honest with yourself. Are we here because of me? Are we here because of something that I control? And if the answer is yes, you should be man enough or woman enough to stand up and say, you know what? I do want to change this and find out what it is. So, because there is a shock involved in somebody not loving you. All right. It shocks your system. Sometimes when people stop loving you, it's a slow fade, meaning it's something that just gradually happens over time. And the next thing you know, that you find yourself in a space where you like, hey, look, you stop caring about whether or not a person is in your space, out of your space, whatever. All right. That's that slow fade. Then you begin to look in and start replaying actions and conversations and things like that, trying to, at an early stage of it, figure it out what it is. And the most dangerous part about it is a lot of times we will blame ourselves. Well, I wonder what I could have did differently. You should only be asking yourself that a few times. Because one, if you're honest with yourself, you're going to already know whether or not you played a significant role in that or not. So let's be clear. But I want you to understand something. Someone leaving you doesn't mean that you were unworthy of love. It means that they no longer feel that way. It also could equally mean that they have created this standard of expectation from you that is impossible for you to achieve. Because there's a difference between somebody being in love with you and someone being in love with the fact that you meet the expectations that they have of you. JC said in my Michael Jackson voice, who's loving you? Uh-oh. That's a dangerous question right there. All right. But love is a choice. Y'all probably don't even want to hear that. Some of y'all don't even, let me put this mic down. Some of y'all don't want to hear that because y'all don't like the concept on the back end. Somebody can choose to love you or choose not to love you. And in many cases, you do bear some responsibility, but don't get it twisted like every time somebody don't love you no more or don't treat you the same no more. Sometimes they didn't love you from the start. Sometimes they were infatuated with you. And the problem is that when it's infatuation, that means when troubled times come, infatuation normally cannot sustain itself during troubled times. If somebody loves you, it don't matter what you going through. They cannot like you but still be in love with you. Matter of fact, that's the worst kind, because they be like, man, I could, boy. But it still doesn't stop them. Matter of fact, when somebody is in love with you, it is not because of a reason. You don't fall in love with somebody because of a specific thing. You didn't love that person. You loved that thing about that person. This might be a little too deep. Now, the other thing is, and ladies, you do this a lot, but I am finding more men that do it as well, that there is a natural danger of internalizing somebody else's rejection. Let me say that again. There is an inherent danger about the way that we will internalize somebody else rejecting us. Somebody cannot want to be with you anymore because of where they are in their life. And that's okay. And I want y'all to understand that we should not, it is not right that we turn everybody who is not in love with us that we love into a villain. Sprinkle that on your spirit for a minute. We will vilify someone who no longer wants to be with us, who is no longer in love with us, not understanding that sometimes it's us. What y'all talking about? Well, Sinclair, what you talking about? Let me tell you what I'm talking about. I may have loved you from the moment that I saw you, but your attitude or your demeanor may be so complicated that I begin to not functionally understand how to reach you. Now, I shouldn't turn you into a villain, but you have to understand that your actions, your attitude, your demeanor, everything has a cause and effect. So somebody might not feel like, hey, I get overwhelmed every time I see you. Yeah, they might not if every time they see you, you make them feel unworthy. Let me say that again. A person can be in love with you, but if you make them feel like they are unworthy enough times when you come around, they will stop wanting to come around because they're going to be like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just saying. Rejection is painful. Yes, it is. But internal rejection is toxic. Let me say that again for the people in the small seats. Rejection is painful. It hurts any of us to know that we want someone, care about somebody, love somebody, desire somebody, however many ways that you say it, and they don't fundamentally feel the same way about you. That hurts. It is painful. But when you internalize rejection, it can become toxic because you ain't gonna let that slide. See, if I'm just hurt, if I'm really to my core hurt, but I recognize that it may just be that I'm not your person, as much as it may pain me to see you walk away, if I really care about you, I'm gonna be like, if you walked away because there was somebody else that made you feel more complete as a person, you deserve that person. It's gonna hurt me. But if I internalize this, if I internalize your rejection to my overtures of love and kindness and all that, when I start internalizing that, now we on a different path. That's where you have some of y'all be out here acting absolutely crazy. Listen, I know there have been one or two times in my 50 plus years, in my half a century of living, there have been some times when I fundamentally had the mindset of somebody got to go. That's real talk. I can only be honest with y'all. That was a toxic internalization of the rejection. And fellas, let me tell y'all, and it's not just fellas, but I'm gonna speak to the fellas right now. Fellas, we have to be mindful of what we say, how we act, cheating, whatever. Now, women, y'all the worst cheaters. Because see, y'all think y'all have a right to cheat when you cheat. When a woman cheats, she feels like it's okay for me because he doesn't feel a certain way, he doesn't treat me a certain way, whatever. Men, a lot of times we cheat, we stupid. We're doing something because we ain't had nothing else to do. That's the dumbest kind of cheating. But you have to understand that cheating is a form of rejection. Think about it now. If someone believes that the relationship is all good, and all of a sudden you turn the tables, you're acting different. If you're not going to articulate to that person why you are acting different, they are going to assume the worst. And the first thing that happens when somebody believes that somebody's having a meeting in all right. Let me see what JC is over here talking about. JC giving us some. JC said cheating is no moral conviction. You're right. You're right. But you must be mindful of the danger associated with internalizing rejection, because you can think something that ain't even really there. A person can, matter of fact, I would dare to say this. One of the top reasons why people stop dealing with people is because you become hard to deal with. And many of you don't even think that that's even humanly possible. Let me tell you what doesn't matter. When a person understands what they need, what you have is irrelevant to them. A woman doesn't care how much money a man has, how he looks, what he drives. She don't care about any of that when she has been in love with you, but you no longer treat her like she has value. Ladies, let me say this to you, because some of y'all are terribly misguided. There is no woman fine enough. There is no woman that can cook good enough. There is no woman that can do anything great enough that the moment that a man determines that you no longer care about him or love him or whatever, he doesn't care about those things. Because deep down in most people's subconscious, all they want is love and peace and loyalty. So for everybody last week that was talking about, oh, it don't matter to me as long as somebody check off them other blocks, you were either lying then or you didn't think about the consequences. Well, how do you handle these situations? When someone rejects you, you have to become in love with yourself again. Because you may have put so much emphasis into how you feel about that person that you lost track of how does it feel to love yourself. And truth be told, that may be the cause of why that person stopped loving you. It can easily be assessed that when someone first met you, y'all know back when y'all thought y'all was the finest thing smoking. I'm just saying that. I ain't judging. Back in the day when you thought that you was the finest thing smoking and you had a different stride about yourself. Uh-oh, y'all. Tyler Perry talked about the 80-20 concept most of us have, all right? Nikki Carter, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you on the show. So back to what we were saying before Nikki Carter came in late. Back when people thought that when you understood the finer version of yourself, when you believed in yourself, when you had a different stride about the way you walked, when the way you carried yourself was so much different, that's when the person was at their height of being in love with you because they loved the way that it was something about your energy. So you have to be mindful that you don't lose that piece along the way. Well, Sinclair, what are you talking about? Remember when you were so fine in your own mind that you made sure you had your A game on, and this is men and women. So this is not gender-based. What is JC talking about? Tyler Perry talked about the 80-20 concept. Most of us have 80%, but we chase and will lose everything for that 20. You better believe it. Remember when you had this aura about yourself? The person was attracted to it because the way you approached them was different. Now, because of lifing or otherwise, when your energy changes and the next person, let me say this, Big Rob, what's going on? There is nobody else, Detective Pamela Black, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you. There is nobody else that can make you feel good about your life. Matter of fact, most of the time, there's nobody else that can make you feel bad about your life. We like to assign blame when life is lifing. I have made $1 million, and I may be exaggerating, but I might be accurate. I've made $1 million bad decisions and or mistakes in my life. Professionally, personally, spiritually. I done made enough bad decisions for everybody who will ever log on to this show. That's the truth. I have loved and lost because of my own ignorance. I have loved and lost because of somebody else's. I have had the opportunity to be with the best and messed it up myself. I have been with some of the finest, most attractive women that a man could possibly ask for. And it wasn't the satisfaction internally that I thought. So I have lived enough in my half a century or more to understand that what makes us tick internally is the energy that we get from somebody else who we believe cares and loves us. I never, ever, ever met, slept with, hung out with anybody that was so fine that she could treat me less than and I still want to be with her. I have been with, and all of these is in my younger days, I have been with someone who by most people's standards was not attractive as others, who treated me like an absolute king. And I messed it up. And I've been at every part of the spectrum in between. But what I learned along the way is that I would not sacrifice for any amount of attractiveness, for anything you think, have, or otherwise, for the feeling that you get, for the security that you get when somebody truly loves you. Because when somebody truly loves you, you ain't got to watch your back with them. Think about every strong relationship, and we're not talking about intimate relationships. Just think about every strong, meaningful relationship that you either have or have had. The best part of that was your ride or die. You could talk to that person about anything and it ain't get out to nobody. You could be around that person and you would laugh just because you was around that person. There was a person that could check you and you ain't even care that they was checking you because internally you knew that that person had your back. Now think about that type of person that ain't in your life no more. That's a space missing. That's a loss right there. When you don't have that person in your life, it wasn't about what they had. Let me tell you something. I can promise you there are a lot of people who are by society's standards considered to be poor that make it every single day. Matter of fact, if I'm being transparent on the show, which I don't know why I'm letting y'all all in my emotional space tonight, I can tell you there's a time, or has been at least multiple times probably in my life, that I done been like Job in the Bible. I done lost it all. But God allowed me to get it back tenfold. Not so I can go back and have it again. He allowed me to get it back because he knew I could appreciate it now. Some of y'all done lost it all. Some of y'all need to lose it all. Some of y'all need to understand what's the value that you have for something. Again, I ain't judging. I'm just telling you that you don't need to lose. I shouldn't lose me because somebody don't love me. Do it hurt? Man, if you find out somebody don't love you that you love, yeah, it hurt. You'll wrestle with yourself mentally and emotionally every day. But here's some questions that you got to ask yourself, not that person. Did they leave you or did you push them away? I know that's too deep for some of y'all. Nikki Carter probably reaching for the pitchfork right now. Robin Williams, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you. When somebody don't love you no more, when you're going through that pain, that intrinsic pain that you're experiencing, when you're having to deal with the reality of it, doesn't matter if they never loved you, if they did. The question you have to ask yourself, because we love to assign blame. What's going on, Essie Shepherd? Look at my armor bearer up here. Here is the most significant question that you can ask yourself. Did the person stop loving me and leave me, or did I push them out the door? See, this can't be about blame. It's about honesty. Sometimes we tell ourselves a story that they walked out on us. They left me. They left me in the struggle. They didn't really care about me. They gave up on me. They gave up on us. They stopped loving me. They stopped loving us. But I need to ask y'all a real Negro question. Did they stop loving you, or did you push them to the end of the rope? Did you make it so they couldn't love you anymore? What's up, girl? Glad to see you. See, that's that piece right there. That's that truth serum right there. Sometimes maybe you was too guarded. Maybe you was too reactive. Maybe you couldn't get out of the past. Maybe you were so busy because the last person scorned you. Maybe this person right here said something. Do you know how many times a person has been in a relationship where somebody says, you triggered me? What? How in the Sam Blazing Hills do I know what's going to trigger you about some experience you done had in your life before? That means everything. I'm taking all the baggage of your entire life, so I can't be normal around you. I got to be on high alert. That's just like somebody cheats. If somebody cheats on you and for whatever reason you say, I'ma stay, they do not have to walk around you and feel the brunt of your energy until you decide that you can get past it. Now, I am a firm believer that a person that wrongs you does not have a right to tell you how long it takes to get over it. I stand 10 toes on that. Unfortunately, if you say you want to stay with that person or you want to try to make it work, they don't have to sit around and allow you to treat them like trash while you feel better or get over it. You need to leave them alone until you feel good enough about yourself that you can be in a normal relationship. Don't nobody have to sit around and be like, I messed up. You said you want to stay together, and I don't care the reason why you said you want to stay. You could be staying because you want to make it work. You could be staying for the kids. You could be staying because it's financially beneficial. You could be staying for whatever reason you want. But the moment you say you gonna stay, you no longer get to treat that person like trash to make you feel better about your decision to stay. Pushing somebody away does not have anything to do with arguments, yelling, screaming. Sometimes it's quietness. And I have to be transparent. Being in a relationship with Sinclair is certainly not an easy thing because I don't mind being quiet. As a matter of fact, that's my preferred methodology for dealing with things because I don't like to even deal with stuff until I absolutely, positively am certain that I'm emotionally ready to. You know, like some of y'all will be like, well, I don't want to go to bed upset. I can sleep like a hibernating bear upset. I just simply can. I could be mad at you and go right to sleep. Night, night. I would rather do that than you force me into a conversation where we get into an argument. You say something that I clearly don't want to hear, or I say something that I can't take back, all because you was going to press me to have the conversation when you wanted to. So silence is not easy for everybody. Most of y'all scared to shut up. I'm just saying, don't get mad. I didn't say it in a negative way. I'm just telling y'all the truth. Most of you all are afraid to shut up. I told somebody today about a different subject matter. I said, I am curious why it is so often that in relationships where there is a test of emotion, that getting quiet, most people, the first thing they will ask you, if you are quiet for more than 60 minutes in the same room with them, they'll say, what's wrong with you? Why is that the first thing we think of, that something must be wrong? Nothing's wrong with me. I just don't feel like talking. Matter of fact, I talk all day long. So every now and then when I'm around you, I might not say anything. I'm not mad. Matter of fact, if you were smart, you would nuzzle up and watch TV. Let me go to sleep. But we don't do that, because in our emotional selves, quietness equates to something must be wrong. Matter of fact, some of y'all can't even watch a movie without talking. Y'all be sitting around talking, did you see that? Nope, sure didn't. But I wish I could see you with your eyes closed sleep. I'm just saying. Did you push a person away? Was it your actions or your attitude that made a person have to make a forced decision that they really didn't want to make? If every day you act as if you can't stand a person, you don't want to be around them, you don't want to have a conversation with them, how does that person take that? How does a regular human being? Because most of us get up and go to work every day. And we get up and go to work, we got to deal with the war of the energies of all the people that we encounter. And the higher you go up the totem pole, the more people you got to deal with. It is difficult. So when you get, if you're dealing with the nuances of everyone else, where is your safe space? That's just a question. Big Rod says silence is deafening to some. You're absolutely right, Big Rod. And another question is, and I'm going to ask this, and it's a fundamental question, how hard are you to love in general? Don't listen, people. Don't get quiet now. Robin says she good with quietness. But I want y'all to answer that. Men and women, how hard are you to love? Are you a impossible love? Do you have these self-created standards in your mind of what the next person ought to be? Are you so hard to love that nobody can move that rock that you have established? I'm just curious. Some of y'all probably flinching right now, ready to say something. Wish you could say something crazy. I'm not asking you to look in the mirror and be ashamed of the person that you are, but I am asking you to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. First and foremost, do you love you? Do you love your condition? Do you love the position you are in life? If the answer to that is no, the person on the other side of your pillow, the person on the other side of your FaceTime, the person that's on the other side of you in conversation is not the problem. That person or people may be able to help you get to a different space, But if you're not happy with you, if you're not happy with your life, if you're not happy with your circumstances, what in the Sam Blazing Hills can another person do that's not going to be temporary? I'm just asking. Do you let people in or do you keep them at arm's length? Do you communicate your needs or expect somebody else to guess them? Now, women, I'm going to put this on y'all because the average man, hold on, let me see what Lola said. I believe it is important to heal in between relationships, whether it be with men or women, family, friends, whoever. You know what, Lola? We're going to let you come to the show a couple of more days. You sound like you got a little sense about yourself. But I want y'all to go back to what I was asking. Do you communicate your needs or do you expect somebody else to know them? And I'm going to be frank with y'all, ladies, y'all the worst at this. Most men will say, if it's something going on, if you have a specific need, tell me what that need is. I have seen women say, if I got to ask you, if I got to tell you, then you really don't know me. No, Negro, if you got to tell me, it's because I'm not a ventriloquist and I ain't a mind reader. And if it's so important that you're going to get mad with me because I don't know it, then you know what? Stop being so in love with your ego and either verbalize it or look in the mirror and tell yourself the reason why somebody doesn't try to make your life better is because your pride wouldn't let you say it. Listen, y'all don't like me, and it's okay. Lola said it depends on how you have to know the person. No, I don't. Anymore said, I don't think I'm a hard person to love. I do admit I have some ways I know he puts up with. Oh, so Annie says she got some ways. You know what? I do not mind a grown woman telling the truth. I salute you, Annie. Oh, Lola talking about it depends on how you have to know the person. I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that before I respond to it. Because again, if you're expecting, and me and this go for us too, you come in the house from a hard day's work, she asking you about your day, she trying to figure out the right things to say, you mad, instead of you saying, babe, look, let me get about 30 minutes to decompress. It ain't got nothing to do with you, but I'd have had a bad day and then we'll talk about it. Instead of you saying that, she run around asking you questions. You getting mad because she asking you questions instead of just saying, right now, I'm not built for it. Matter of fact, true story. This happened to me yesterday. So Chanelli called me yesterday. That's my sister for all y'all that don't know. It probably ain't none of your business, but that's a 12-month twin, right? So she called me yesterday and she was asking me some questions. And when she was asking me some questions, it was about something that I had already been addressing or whatever, right? But she was asking me these questions. And so at first I was like, look, let me call you back. Because I really was trying to get out the phone. And y'all know how we do. We'll be like, I'm going to call you right back, but you really ain't going to call them back because you feel some kind of way, but you really don't want to say that because you don't want to start an argument. So anyway, she's still talking. And I love my sister. So I give her the benefit of the doubt, even though she was really getting on my nerves. And so she started asking a million daggone questions. And I'm like, so then we get into this back and forth argument because I'm tired of her asking me a bunch of questions. And so when I tell her, I said, look, I should have hung up on you a few minutes ago because I really didn't feel like talking because I'd have had a bad day at work, whatever. And I go through this and I'm going back and forth and I'm telling her, and y'all know what she told me. This real talk. And see, the 12-month twin could say it because she know I ain't got nothing but love for her. I moved to earth for her. She said, why you didn't just tell me that you had a bad day and you didn't feel like talking? We could have got off the phone after hello. I was dead wrong. I was feeling some kind of way, but I'm thinking I'm doing a favor because this the 12-month twin I ain't talked to in a few days, so I'm going to give her some energy. And I'm sitting around here and I'm still going back and forth, and I'm getting more and more upset because I'm thinking that the question she asking me is so irrelevant to life in that moment. But I never said the thing to her. I never said, hey, 12 months. Give me about an hour. I'm going to call you back because I done had a heck of a day and I really don't feel like doing this. I didn't do my part. I assumed she could pick up the energy. So I was wrong. Let me see what Lola talking about. She talking about how long you have known the person. Let me say this. I agree and disagree. I think the moment that you decide you are going to be in any type of friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it, you owe a person the truth in that space. And if the truth means that there is some part of you that is still damaged from something that either I did, they did, she did, he did, I got a right to know that up front so that I know how to navigate when I'm dealing with you. And ladies, let me say this to you all. Men, we are always trying to act like we got it together emotionally. That is our flaw in relationships. Because that's the one thing that you can't move past anything when you still trying to act tough, but you're emotionally in a space of unknowing. But we blame everything on what happened to me with somebody else. Ladies, y'all the worst about it. Y'all easy to tell somebody because I've been hurt before. Negro, you done hurt somebody before. He just didn't tell you because he ain't want to be called soft. Sometimes men can't say nothing because y'all will be like, oh, you soft. I ain't got to be soft because I don't want to sit up and make you feel bad that your actions is a hot mess. Y'all ain't with that, are you? I know how y'all feel right now. Some of y'all saying, hey, look here, this dude can go ahead and get up off the show. Unfortunately for y'all, it's my show. So I can stay up here as long as I want to. But we're going to talk about something. Let me ask you this question. Male or female, do you need more than you give in the relationship? Look here, I'm starting to like Lola. She said men have feelings too. You know, it's been a long time since I seen a woman on a public forum. Matter of fact, it's been a long time since I seen a woman in private acknowledge that men even got feelings. So, Lola, I appreciate that. This might be your first time on the show, but I got a little respect for you because you done said something that most won't even say. But back to my question. Do you need more from the relationship than you give? Every relationship, romantic, platonic, professional, has an invisible scale. And that invisible scale is what you give versus what you need. So you need to ask yourself honestly, did somebody stop loving you? Did they leave you alone? Did they walk away? Did you ask or need more of the relationship than what you were bringing to it? And I'm not talking about anything that you can touch that's tangible. I'm asking from a emotional perspective, did you need more than you gave? And it's not about guilt, it's about awareness. Sometimes we enter relationships with a hunger that we don't even know we have. A hunger for validation, for reassurance, for emotional safety. And if we ain't careful, we'll start asking our partners to feed us those things that we haven't learned to feed ourselves. Big Rod said it fluctuates. We all need something in relationships. Understand where we coming from. And I want y'all to listen to this. Sprinkle this on your spirit. Sometimes we have a hunger for validation, for reassurance, for emotional safety. And if we're not careful, we will start asking our partner to feed us in ways that we haven't learned to feed ourselves. Meaning, no one can make you feel complete if you don't feel complete by yourself. I know that's too deep. It's too much. We expect somebody in our life to understand, always be available, always affirm us. But when it's time to give that, time to listen, time to support, time to show up, we hesitate, we tire, we overwhelm. Women, y'all do it to men all the time. Men do it to women too. But y'all, most men's got a little simp in them. All he want to do is, if it's somebody he care about, he want to make sure they good if it's possible. But ladies, y'all have a scale that y'all will sit around and talk about, I ain't doing this and I ain't doing that. Matter of fact, we're not talking about equal things. We're talking about a scale of, do you put in what you want out? Not did you put, I put an apple in, you put an apple in, because you might not like apples. I'm talking about, do you give the same thing in relationships? How can a person feel complete if you always talking about what you don't do, what you don't like, what you ain't gonna do, what you ain't gonna have, what a person better just accept? That person is getting a laundry list of things from you that you personally are comfortable sharing. But what are you telling the person that they do get? And let me tell y'all something. You can't get me something that I could get myself. I know that's probably deep. It's real deep. You can't get me. You can't use the fact that you gave me something that I already got. I don't need you to be there for me in a way that I'm already good on. I need you, if you love me, be there for me in a way I ain't good on. I know that's too much. Y'all know what? It's almost 9 o'clock. It's time for me to get up off this show playing with y'all. All right? Matter of fact, most of y'all don't know what equal love is because you think or feel like you're entitled to more, and you certainly ain't trying to give it. What if, men, and this goes for us too, what if somebody asked you for the same thing that you're asking of them? I know that's deep. What if somebody, ladies, what if your man asked you to put in the same weight of emotion that you want him to give? What if your man started off with a laundry list of things that he don't do, he don't like? Could you handle it? I don't want y'all to get quiet now, because them facts that we talking about. I'm about to tell y'all something, and I know, matter of fact, when I say this, I'm going to go and get up off the air because I know that some of y'all going to be in your feelings. And I need you to understand, I don't care. Because you came to the show, you wanted to have this truth serum, so I'm going to let you get this serum tonight. I want you to think about this. And I'm going to say it 2 times, and then I'm hanging up on y'all. Let this right here for sure sprinkle in your spirit. I bet right now that somebody out there is begging for the kind of love that you begging somebody else to take. Don't let that go over your head. Let me say it again. I bet any of you right now that there is somebody out here right now begging for somebody to be in their life and give the kind of love that you begging somebody else to take that don't even want you. What Lola talking about? I would do my best to meet his needs. I want both of us to be happy in a relationship. Sounds good. You ain't been on the show but one time, so we don't know if you really telling the truth or not. But your talk game is A-level in here, so I'm going to go and say that. But before I get up off this show, because it's 9 o'clock, time for us to get up out of here, remember this, and I want y'all to think about this, because I know some of y'all going to hit me up in the DM talking all that. But I bet that you can find somebody right now out there in them streets. There's somebody sitting in a house right now begging for the type of love that you begging somebody else to accept from you. And he said, I don't need more than I give because I'm not hard to please, and neither is he. He always tells me don't ever change because he's satisfied with who I am. Whatever, Annie Moore, you might be a serial killer. He might be scared. I'm going to tell you, man, if you feel like you in fear, blink twice, we'll come get you. Anyway. But I want y'all to leave on that. I bet it's somebody out there. Somebody on this show right now. Somebody in their house right now. Somebody on the way home from work right now that is begging for the type of love that you keep throwing to somebody else that keeps rejecting it because they don't love you. And let that be on your spirit.
It's about that time.
Gotta
baby,
go,
baby.
people.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Run it if your friends come on.
Come on.